Konnichiwa, Sherlock this, and welcome to another episode of Sherlock Investigates Japan. Today I'm going to be showing you how to wear your katana. This style most commonly used in Iaido, Iaijutsu, sometimes even Kendo as well. So knowing how to wear this properly is very important, especially if you're just beginning. First of all, when carrying the sword, almost always in your right hand. Now, there was actually a rule that said samurai had to be right-handed. Of course, there were always exceptions, but you could argue 99% were always right-handed, whether they wanted to be or not. So the sword being in my right hand, whilst in the scabbard, the saya, is actually a symbol of peace. It means I'm not going to attack, or that it's at least difficult for me to pass the sword around to draw with my right hand. So this symbol of friendship. As you can see, roughly hanging down here is the string. This is called sageo. Sageo, very important for wearing the sword as well. There's a lot of different styles of doing that. I'll be coming back to that in a moment. First of all though, I don't want this dragging along the floor, so I'm going to be picking it up with my left hand, pinching both of the strings roughly at the end of the saya. And from there, it comes up towards the grip. Now at this point, I'm going to swap, and I'm going to put my right thumb inside of the loop I've just created, taking my left out, and gripping a hold of the string in my right hand as well. So now everything is nice and neat, it's in my right hand. This is the proper way to stand with the sword, especially for bowing. Very important, especially in Iaido as well. So next up is wearing the katana. Now there is a lot of history, different styles of Iaido, Iaijutsu, Kendo, Kenjutsu, and each of these styles has a slightly different history, a different culture, different style of being used. So each may well actually wear the sword in a slightly different fashion. So most important here, please check with your sensei first before rushing ahead with this. Obviously, I don't want to get you in trouble, so please check with your dojo and your sensei their correct way of wearing it. I'm of course going to be showing the style that I was taught. It is a fairly common one, so there will be at least some similarities, if not exactly the same. So, first of all, as I said, the sword is in my right hand. Most samurai were right-handed, whether they wanted to be or not. This meant they drew the sword with their right hand, invariably meaning the sword was worn on the left. So, samurai always have the sword on their left hip. Now for me, the sword tucks in between the first layer of the Kaku Obi and the others. Now if you'd like to learn how to wear the Kaku Obi, please feel free to check out my video. I'll be linking it in the description box below. But I'm going to assume you've done that bit. You're wearing the Kaku Obi. The first layer is the one closest to your body. One layer, and the katana goes into that area in between that first layer and the others. Into there, and this is where the gap in the Hakama, these trousers, and again, yes, if you'd like to learn how to wear the Hakama, I've also made a video on that. So, again, linked in the description box below, please go and check it out. So the katana, the saya at least, has gone in between the first layer and the others of the Kaku Obi, all the way through, and it comes out of this gap in the Hakama. So I put the sword in there. Now personally as well, I like to have one of these strings, the himo, below the sword. The others are above. This simply helps to support the weight. Next up, the sageo. Now again, I don't want to just have this hanging down next to me. I'll trip over it. So again here, lots of different ways of doing this, so please check with your dojo and your sensei first. I'll show you the way I was taught to wear the sageo. Now because it is a long bit of string, first thing, it goes behind the sword. This shortens it a little bit. And next, roughly 20 to 30 centimeters from the end, I pinch and I create this loop here. That loop is then pushed upwards, so from below upwards under the himo of the Hakama. Now, not all the way. The loop has gone through. There is still some of the string hanging below. This is important. First of all, the loop that has gone up, twist it around. Next up, these two bits make another loop. That loop goes inside the first one, which is now being twisted. Just inside, still leave those other bits hanging, and then from below, pull the other part of the sageo through, and it creates this nice loop here. Now this bit is why the loops and the knot was so important. To quickly take the sword off, I simply grab these remaining strings, pull, that knot comes undone. Simple. But if I pull from any other part of the string, the knot becomes tighter. It means if an opponent comes in and grabs my sword, tries to run away with it, well, the knot's going to get tighter, they're not going to get very far. But let's finish cleaning up the sageo here. From the parts of the sageo, which is attached to the saya, take that rope, lift it up, and then drop it in. This shortens the part of the sageo from your hakama going around the back, keeps it neat and tidy. The other part is here, which allows the free movement of the sword. So there we go. You're now wearing a sword, you can practice. But how do you take it on? Well, same as before. Invariably, when you're carrying the sword, your left hand is holding the saya, with your thumb sitting on top of the sumo. Now, the way I was taught to take the sword off, push it forwards, your right hand then takes over. This prevents the sword falling out, which would be very embarrassing and in the olden days could be punishable by death. Next up, this rope here. Out of the way, and the two bits of string, pull. Now it's free. Taking the sageo again from the saya, I lift it out and around back to my right hand here. Left hand is taking over the grip, whilst my right thumb hooks into the sageo. And again, I use my other fingers here just to hold it all neat and tidy. From here, I can draw the sword free, and now it's out of the belt, I'm carrying it properly. So there you have it, how to wear and how to take out the sword as well. So, thank you all so much for watching. As always, I am Sherlock. Minasan mite kurete arigatou gozaimashita. After that, I must.